It is National Baking Month, and you still have time to create some sweet treats or just grab some across our local area.
We are literally mesmerized by some of these goodies that you brought today. So joining us now to show us how to create that perfect pie and also the perfect crust, which if you know Genoa, she's obsessed with it, one of our anchors as well. So Bethany Metaderi, chef and owner of Cutie Pies Bake Shop in St. Augustine, is joining us. And I have to show, like, these are so cute.
Thank you.
They really, really are.
We've gone over the whole list of all the awesome ingredients here. I've already got my eyes on a few.
We have to share. We'll have to share.
Yeah.
All right. So, you know, I think I'm caught on buying my crust because I do think it's super easy and I find that it's okay. But there is something to a homemade crust that's really special.
Yes, absolutely. You know, I think a lot of times people do take those shortcuts and don't realize that pretty simply you can do it at home. This particular recipe you can do in a food processor in about less than 5 minutes.
What?
Okay. So with just some butter and a little bit of shortening, sugar, flour, and salt, and then some ice water and a tablespoon of vinegar.
Oh, well then, gosh, you put
pretty-
it like that. That's easy.
Pretty similar to making a cookie, then?
Yes,
from
I
scratch?
would say so, yeah. Main difference between a cookie and a pie crust is with a cookie you want your ingredients to be room temperature or warm.
Okay.
With pie crust, the key to flaky, wonderful pie crust is cold, cold, cold.
Oh.
So your butter needs to be frozen, your shortening should be frozen, you use ice water.
Okay.
Because as the fat, the butter, gets
separates.
warm, it kind of makes it yucky.
Yeah.
And I think that's where people get confused and kind of get off track. So keep everything super, super cold.
Okay, there you go. There's your tip for the day. And then that food processor that keeps it that way as well.
Right, the food processor. And then the other thing I think people think is that when you make cookies, you want it all really smooth and blended. When you make pie crust, you want to see chunks of butter in your pie crust. So that's not a bad thing if it's not totally blended. You don't want to overmix it or it'll become tough.
There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so what are we making today?
So today I was just going to show you how to make hand pies, which are similar to empanadas, but you could put anything in them. Sweet, savory, you know, sort of like a Pop-Tart, or at our shop we have savory hand pies for breakfast. So I was just going to show you that, you know, very simply with things you have at home, you don't need any fancy equipment. You could make hand pies for your kids to grab and go or whatever.
I love that.
Yeah.
Seriously.
So, you know, I have a rolling pin, but you could easily use a wine bottle if you don't have one.
Have lots of those.
Baseball bat, you know, whatever you got.
Yes, so you just want to make sure you don't want to overwork your dough, so you just want to kind of go back and forth. You want to make sure that
Lots
you have
of flour,
on it.
yeah.
Yes.
So is this going to make one pie or multiple?
It'll make multiple,
Okay.
yep. And then you kind of turn it so that it kind of gets flat and like a
right.
rectangle. And then I purposely, again, brought some things from home. If you don't have a biscuit cutter or you don't have a cookie cutter, you could use a bowl or a glass. So you could just take one and press it down, and you have your cutout for your hand pie.
All right.
Look at that.
Ready to go.
All right.
So I made a few here so I could show you. So then you would just take your tray once you've cut out your hand pies, and I did use a bowl for these as well. And I just brought some scrambled eggs today to show you.
Let me ask real quick, excuse
Sure.
me. With the thickness of this, because the one that you cut is a little thicker, but you want to,
Right.
what, about?
Yeah, I would say you want it about 1/4 of an inch
Okay,
thick. Yeah,
that's helpful.
Absolutely. And you can buy rolling pins, honestly, that have guides on them that make it that thickness for you
well,
too,
there
if
you
you
go.
want to.
Okay.
But yeah.
Stuff it with those eggs,
Yep.
which very high-priced ingredient right now. Didn't used to be.
Still cheaper than other things.
Yes, absolutely.
And
So
you can add sausage or whatever you want to it.
cheese,
Yeah.
bacon. You could even put peanut butter and jelly in here if your kiddos love that. Whatever you
Guava
think.
and cheese.
Yes.
We can go on and on.
I said for the Super Bowl at Cutie Pies, we're going to have buffalo chicken ham
I
pies
love that. Yum.
while you're watching the game. And then you just take a little egg wash, but you could even use water, and you just kind of brush it around the end and fold it in half.
There you go.
Press it down, take your little fork.
Oh,
So because you
did
don't
say
want it
this
to
part.
explode. Yep, definitely. The
Oh,
explosion
they're
is
actually, I always
for
thought that was
real.
just for beauty, but that's for that reason?
Yes,
Okay.
for lack of explosion.
There
for
we
sure.
go. And then do you paint it with
Yep,
the egg
just
again?
put a little egg wash on it again on top, and then I always like to top it with something, especially if I'm making different kinds so I know what's inside. But these are
Everything
just
bagel.
Some multicolored sesame seeds,
Yeah.
yep.
You're right, that's what I was thinking.
It looks just
Wow,
like
and then I want to show, eventually, we'll have something beautiful like this when it
Yes,
bakes.
Absolutely, with 350 for about 15 minutes.
That's it.
That's
well, you
it.
certainly made that much easier. I can't make up any excuses. So what can people get at your shop?
So we specialize in from scratch mini pies and treats. So everything I make is 100% from scratch because I really feel like I want to pay tribute to generations of people who came before me who didn't compromise.
Wow.
So everything's made from scratch, and then we do them in minis so that you can have as much variety as possible and try a little bit of everything.
And you don't feel guilty when you pick
Yes.
one and just take one big bite. One more time for the
Didn't
viewers.
compromise.
Thumbs up? Big thumbs up. All right.
But 2 thumbs up.
Thank
This
you.
one's-
You're very welcome.
That's yours for sure. All right, Cutie
Definitely.
Pies in St. Augustine.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for
Come on down
sharing
and
with
see us.
us.
Thanks so much.
We'll be right back after the break. Don't talk with your mouth full.
Awesome.